Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture, joined by Adam Nicholas from WhatCulture, and having gone to bed for a few hours, not together, shush. We are here to give our star ratings for Money in the Bank, a pay-per-view that was pretty good, yeah?
Pretty good, I have to say. Considering we've had such a distraction going on here, especially in the UK, maybe some would say across the world. Little small matter of the World Cup. We've had Brazil drawing with Switzerland. We had the Germans getting beat 1-0 off Mexico.
But yeah, anyway, we are here to talk about wrestling, and I mean, it was an improvement on Backlash, I suppose. Let's talk about our star ratings for Money in the Bank. Dave Meltzer, just to clarify, I've got a bit of a thing with Dave.
I'm just going to give you the floor for a minute there.
Okay. Hi, Dave. Just to let you know, we won't be giving out any 7-star ratings on our review today because our star ratings have got a little bit of integrity, actually, Dave. So, you know, we will be giving it a fair rating between 1 or 0 and 5. I think that's fair enough, isn't it?
Because we're classy, Dave. We like to take the classy approach. We make a formula and we stick to it.
There will be no 7-star ratings in today's review because of the integrity of our star ratings.
It has nothing to do with the fact that there's no 7-star match possible in WWE.
Anyway, Uncle Dave, sit back, take some notes, and enjoy, and everyone else who isn't Uncle Dave, enjoy our star ratings for Money in the Bank.
So the opener for this one was Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass, the little lumberjack from Aberdeen, Washington, taking on the biggest, orangest, oiliest tree he's ever tried to chop down in his adult life. Daniel Bryan continues to do his thing and be wonderful because, well, let's face it, he's Daniel Bryan and he's bloody awesome. As for Big Cass, well, he feels like a guy they don't know what they're doing with. He's an udderless ship at the moment, and I'm really not sure if they've got a handle on what they're doing with him. Keeping Bryan out of the ladder match later in the night was probably a smart move health-wise, because there was some bloody horrible bumps in that match, but we'll get to that in a second. And it really starts to feel, this match, and to be honest, the whole feud in general, feels like a bit of a placeholder for both men. Bryan is being held until they can figure out whether they're going to do or pull the trigger on him versus Miz. And as for Big Cass, I guess they're just kind of tiding him over until they can figure out what the hell they're actually going to bloody do with him. Better than the match at Backlash, although the bar for that one wasn't exactly very high at all. I've given this match 2 stars, both men doing the best they can with an otherwise rather forgettable feud.
You've got to understand, I had really low expectations for this match. And it didn't even live up to that, did it? Poor Sami Zayn. He has tried his hardest with all the crap he has been given for this feud. The obstacle course, the Three Sisters routine, this match where he had to play the chicken heel begging for mercy all the time. He'd given 100% throughout all this, and yeah, still no one cared. There was one nice callback to that handshake, crushing the hand thing that they had a few weeks ago, and yeah, then some vertical suplexes, a spine buster, job done. The only memorable thing from this match was the cocky pin, which I'm fairly certain never worked for Jericho, because it's a cocky pin which the majority of the time is meant to be used by heels. I suppose at least his headband stayed in place during this match, both in terms of this review and both of those guys. Move on. 1 star.
This match was the match I'd been looking forward to the most, aside from the 2 ladder matches. Seth Rollins versus Elias. I was expecting big things from it, and to be honest, when Rollins came out in his old ring gear, the ring gear that he won and cashed in his Money in the Bank contract at WrestleMania no less, I thought we were off to a bloody flyer. So with Seth Rollins back in business and at the top of his game, I really thought this was going to be the match that was going to put Elias on the map. Rollins, a guy who could definitely get a good match out of Elias, and Elias, a man very capable of putting on a good match, hopefully that would meet his character and promo work. Unfortunately for me, I was left feeling a little bit disappointed by this one. Now, don't get me wrong, both guys performed well. Seth Rollins' work obviously speaks for itself. He's right back in the sweet spot and is doing some great things. Elias is a great wrestler too. Anybody who's watched him from NXT through to WWE knows that. He's got that in his locker, but we're just waiting for the match where we can finally acknowledge that. Unfortunately, this was not it. You got two guys who have got great characters and know what they're doing, and that stuff seemed to get a bit confused throughout this match. It just feels like to me, if Rollins' knee was going to get injured, you've got a heel in Elias. Why not have him be the guy who does the damage? On top of that, you've got Elias, who actually lost the match because Seth Rollins rolled him up and pulled his bloody tights. Pure babyface, actually one of the guys who's getting over in that role, which is quite a rarity these days. And we've had him roll Elias up with a heel tactic. Both counts felt like missed marks for me, to be honest. Really kind of put me off and left me feeling very flat at the end of this one, because those are two guys who are solid in their character work, and to be forced into doing something that kind of goes against that, well, didn't work for me. I've given this one 2 3/4 stars. Solid work from the guys. I love CrossFit Jesus. I love Heavy Metal Jesus. But ultimately, this match should have been a lot better.
Well, this was bloody brilliant, wasn't it? I think they could have probably just had an average ladder match and we'd have all loved it due to the lack of James Ellsworth this year. At least in this match. Oh, we will get to him. There was huge spots with people getting power bombed off ladders, people getting chucked into other ladders, people getting speared onto ladders. It was a fantastic match. It kept you guessing throughout, and I think this is the women's ladder match that will live long in the memory. A bit like the men's ladder match, you could have made an argument for literally anyone in this match winning that contract. We all assumed or hoped it was going to be Becky Lynch, and it very nearly was. Bliss knocked her off, she claimed the contract, she became Mrs. Money in the Bank. Alexa Bliss is Miss Money in the Bank, and yeah, we'll get to what happened with her, Ronda and Nia in a short while. But what a women's ladder match. I think possibly I kind of want to go and rewatch this more than the men's ladder match. Really enjoyable, well deserved, brilliant. More, please. 4 stars. Do you wanna take this one or?
No. I think you got this.
Come on now. We've had a nice time. I insist.
No, really. This was a come on. This is a treat for you. It was
rubbish, wasn't it?
Yeah. How do you actually? Has an idea. Siri, what is the polite way to say a steaming pile of shit?
This was in the death spot.
The death spot. 5th
match on the card, if you don't count the pre-show.
Yep.
After the women's Money in the Bank, and they went, you know what we need after this exciting, high-paced, big spots thing? A nice, slow, methodical match with 2 people the crowd could not care less about.
At this point, not even engaging with Roman. It's funny, and it's actually almost kind of nice, because for all these years when the women were really upset about their matches being the piss break, now Roman Reigns, potentially the golden boy, is the piss break for the women's match. I tell you what, feminism has run riot and I'm happy about it. Bollocks to you, Roman. Bollocks to Jinder.
We're going to get comments about that feminist thing.
Look, doesn't matter.
Soy boys alert.
Soy boys up. Wait, listen, there's a time and a place for it, and you know what it is? If Roman Reigns, it has to become the piss break for the women's match afterwards, then maybe Vince will finally start to pay attention to that. Who am I kidding?
Yes.
He doesn't pay attention to anybody.
When you look at a match featuring Jinder Mahal and Roman Reigns and say, who's the star here? Oh, that's right, Sunil Singh. Tells you what you need to know. But what a star he was.
Sunil, the king of the cell Singh, by the way, the top salesman of the night. How bad is it when he is the one who steals the show between Jinder and Roman Reigns? Absolutely fantastic. What was your favourite one of his sells?
I think mine would have to be the Batista-esque fall he did into the wheelchair. Was it a Superman punch he got?
It was a Superman punch, but it looked like a Superman punch on a PlayStation that was connected to really bad Wi-Fi as he hit him, and then it was like...
I'm not a fan of fans chanting stuff when matches are on that aren't related to it, but you know what? They get a pass for this one.
They do, unless, of course, you are referee Charles Robinson, who tweeted out that this was a great match and that the fans were disrespectful. This, Charles, is the reason why Mike Chiora has a song on our live stream and you do not. I love Charles Robinson, I should point out. Think he's great, little niche, but that is the worst take I have heard in quite some time. I love Roman Reigns as well, but that is a not good match.
I wrote down one word on this bit of paper about this match.
It was literally one word.
And it sums it up. Inevitable. 1.5 stars.
I wasn't sure how they were going to do this match, to be honest. First of all, you had CARMELLA, who it felt like it was really too early for her heel title reign to come to an end. She's only really just starting to find her groove as champion, and her promo and character work have been fantastic over the last couple of weeks. And as for Asuka, she's still recovering from the loss at WrestleMania to Charlotte. To give her another L at this point felt like a little bit too early, but also, if you want to keep her credibility, maybe having her lose to CARMELLA might not be the best option. There'd been rumours before this pay-per-view that James Ellsworth was going to be making an appearance, and we were all obviously super stoked about that because his appearance at the last women's Money in the Bank ladder match went so bloody well, didn't it? But it turns out the chinless Ronda decided to get involved in a different match, and it just so happened to be this one. The match was fairly meh, to be honest. There was nothing great, there was nothing terrible, and just as Asuka was starting to kind of get a foothold in the match, that's when the big moment happened, and all of a sudden the Empress of Tomorrow was taken aback at the sight of, well, another Asuka standing on the ring apron, ready to come in and distract her. And who could it possibly be? Well, spoiler alert, it wasn't Asuka from the past travelling to the future to remind her of how good life was before Vince got his grubby mitts on her. No, it wasn't her at all. It was James Ellsworth in disguise. Bum bum bum. He turned up and pulled off the mask to reveal his creepy little face, along with one of the creepiest little winks you're ever gonna see, and managed to distract Asuka long enough to let Carmella kick her in the head with that kick that lands about as many times as a Roman Reigns Jinder Mahal match in 2018, and it was 1, 2, 3 and a big fat L for the Empress of Tomorrow. 1.5 stars for me for this one. Take nothing away from Carmella, still a fan of his, and as for Asuka, where she goes after this remains to be seen. She is still Japanese though, so there is that.
I realise literally everyone has said this, right? But you're in a match, a last man standing match, against a guy who's handed out more cock shots than jewels, and you don't wear a cup. Seriously? This rivalry, this feud between AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura is sort of Vince's way of when your dad finds you smoking, making you smoke the whole pack. Oh, you want to see these two brilliant indie wrestlers fight at WrestleMania, do you? Right, we're going to put them on every single pay-per-view until you are sick of it. But I bloody love this. These two just sometimes don't give a f*** about their body, do they? I think that's why I enjoyed this match so much. You bought into the fact that every little ounce of energy was being used just to survive. There was a point where Nakamura chucked Styles into a table in the corner of the ring, and I swear Styles just sped up before he hit the table. And then finally Styles takes control, targets the knee of Nakamura. That Styles clash off the stairs could have done it for me. They could have stopped the match there and you'd have bought into it. But no, he survives, he gets up, we get the whole "Gimme!" worst Nakamura impression ever. A big old kick to the dick from AJ Styles, and then a phenomenal forearm onto the table which just exploded. I'm happy for AJ Styles. I'm happy that the feud has concluded, I think, with this, and AJ Styles is still WWE champion, and this has only reinforced our belief that he's just phenomenal. I also sat there as a massive fan of Shinsuke Nakamura. I sort of finally realised last night they're never going to make him WWE champion, are they? So yeah, probably see him at Extreme Rules. Still though, if this is the end, for now at least, what a way to end it. 3 3/4 stars. A fantastic start to this match with Nia just rushing in and destroying Ronda, and then Ronda using her sort of MMA nous to get out of the way and then start using her patented strikes. We had Samoan drops. We had that bit where she just smashed her into the barricade and then turned around to her other half, Travis Brown, and went, "Yeah, see what I've just done to your missus?" I know this has been mentioned, but I feel like it bears repeating. In her first singles pay-per-view match, Ronda Rousey looked great again. Her facials, for someone who has only just walked into this business, she seems to know exactly where all the cameras are, when to sort of transform into this badass and just go absolutely mental. There was the judo throw, which was kind of a little bit awkward. I'm going to put that on Nia rather than Ronda. And then that crossbody. That crossbody was brilliant off the top rope. We had that moment, the armbar, which has been worked on for a long time. We've had attempted Kimuras and all that. She eventually gets there, and as we saw with her match against Steph, slowly pries those fingers apart to get the armbar. In comes Alexa Bliss, swinging that briefcase around. I lost count of how many times she hit people with that briefcase, and it wasn't like the usual one where they just sort of hold it up and hit him with it. She was just lobbing it round, twat you with a briefcase, have some of that in your arm, see you later. She turns round, she attacks the arm of Nia Jax, she hits that DDT up top for the Sparkle Splash or Twisted Bliss, whatever you want to call it, for the 1-2-3. She has cashed in and become Raw Women's Champion. I want to say 3 3/4, but then that cash-in was just great, wasn't it? It's the best cash-in we've had. I know we've only had 2, but 4 stars. 4 stars, move on.
And finally, we had the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Now, fair to say, with the group of guys who were in this match, expectations were very high. All guys with a potential claim to win this one, maybe except Bobby Roode, because he's just not kind of there yet for me. And to be fair, as tends to be the case with these Money in the Bank pay-per-view matches, bloody hilarious me. The potential for excellence and the endless possibilities were enough to get me very stoked indeed for this match. From the get-go, I wanted Samoa Joe to win the match, and I was thinking Xavier Woods was going to be the member of the New Day who got involved in the ladder match. Neither of those things happened because, well, I'm a wrestling idiot, and ultimately, that didn't spoil the fact that this was a really bloody good match. As I've said, aside from Roode, who I think maybe is just lacking a little bit in star power at the moment, God knows how they've managed to do that to him, I would have been happy with anybody winning this match because they all had a fair enough claim and it could have done quite a lot for all their careers. This match delivered in spades. I felt like it really didn't disappoint at all, and ultimately managed to showcase Braun Strowman as the absolute monster and star that we all know he is. You could arguably say this was a Braun Strowman highlight reel. The big man threw Kevin Owens off a 20-foot plus ladder, fall Steen fall. He also ran through a ladder being held by Bobby Roode and Finn Balor, which was absolutely brilliant. Snapped it clean in two with his big meaty shoulder. I can already see Vince McMahon with a throbbing hard on backstage in Gorilla. He also managed to make Miz wish he'd been wearing his brown pants that night. What a great sell that was from the Miz. There were other highlights too, of course. Balor and Kofi both jumping and flipping over the ropes onto the outside, onto a group of the guys, one after another, was great. Rusev doing his double and then triple accolade was bloody wonderful, and not to mention the fact that we're going to get a meme out of that will be everywhere soon, of him smiling gleefully at the thought of doing just that. And of course, Finn Balor doing a coup de grace from a ladder outside the ring into the ring onto Bobby Roode was too bloody sweet. Braun winning the briefcase did actually come as quite a surprise. I think there's a bunch of guys in that match who could perhaps benefit more from having the briefcase, but I have no complaints here. Braun Strowman is a deserving winner of the Money in the Bank ladder match, especially just based on that match alone. And to be honest, anything that gets him to being a step closer to dethroning Brock Lesnar, the man who does not go on television as the Universal Champion, is good for me, and it will give Braun the title that his hard work absolutely bloody deserves. 4 stars for this one, and here's to the monster among men finally being crowned Universal Champion in the not too distant future.
And there we have it, another WWE pay-per-view in the bag. Money in the Bank 2018 done. The highest rating, 4 stars, not even coming close to 5 stars, never mind 7 stars. So Uncle Dave, you're probably quite happy because it keeps your seesaw nice and in balance.
Prick.
Yeah, what he said.
Let us know your thoughts on what was match of the night and what you thought about the whole pay-per-view in the comments section below. And of course, don't forget to like, share and subscribe.
Or unsubscribe from the network if you've just watched Jinder and Roman. Who knows? Whatever you fancy.
Why torture yourself with that? Jesus. I can't wait, by the way, for all these new feuds to start on Raw and SmackDown. Hope you like rematches.
Yes. Can't wait for AJ Styles and Nakamura once again to go head-to-head or ball-to-ball or whatever it is they do these days. And
cock to hand?
Yeah, cock to hand or forearm to whatever it is.
For that,
yeah,
you can do the rest.
That's all it is. Anyway, he's been Adam from WhatCulture. I've been Adam from WhatCulture, and we will see you soon.